Here's an interesting Reddit post. Men, in long term relationships, what is stopping you from proposing? Let's see what they have to say. So, someone says, we have 3 previous marriages between the two of us. Seems like more trouble than it's worth to do again. Yeah, you know, you should learn your lesson the first time. So, it'd be very stupid to get into another marriage, even if you're very strong with that other person. You see these crazy things where someone will get divorced and they'll get into a long term relationship straight after, get married very soon after that, and then, yeah, the same outcome happens again. So, yeah, learn from your first mistake, guys. Someone says, I eventually proposed, but it took me 10 years. We got together in sophomore in high school, and back then we both had big dreams and ambitions. I can't be asked to read that whole thing. It's a long one. But look, if you're meeting someone when you're young and you've been with each other for a long period of time, you're each other's only, each other's first, then that's probably the best chances of a happy marriage. It's because you met so early on and you're going through life together. So maybe that marriage could work if they do finally get proposed, but I don't want to read all the information because it was very, very long post. Someone says saving for a ring. Yeah, rings are expensive. I don't know how much you should pay for a ring. I know it depends on your income and you like take a percentage from that to go towards a ring. But especially in this Instagram age, even the nicest, most wonderful women, they care about their image and they're gonna want a nice, shiny, expensive ring, even if the girl has a lot of positive flags, green flags, and she's a lovely woman. Still, she's gonna want the bling bling ring. So you're gonna have to fork out a couple of grand minimum, um, or she's gonna be disappointed, and yeah, there's gonna be some early resentment. But again, it's just a ring. It shouldn't matter from us guys' point of view. We don't really care. You should be happy just to be with each other. Some gold, silver ring shouldn't matter too much, but unfortunately it does. So you're gonna have to fork out some money. And in this time, things are expensive. Things are expensive for everyone. So saving for a ring, yeah, that's a pretty good reason not to get married. It makes more sense for her to appear to be single mum of 2 kids on paper. That way, school is paid for. Okay, this is like some economic way to get around paying extra money, but I'm hoping he's not, dating a single mum of 2 kids and he's coming into the relationship with 0 kids. I don't think that's probably the best balance of a relationship. I think if you've got kids and she's got kids, that's probably a better fit. So it's just the interesting details he's left out there. The fact that we live with her parents, something about it just feels really awkward, especially if people ask us about any details. Yeah, you're going to want to move out. You want to make sure you have your own place, I think, before getting into a marriage. You certainly need to get your financial situation right before spending 20k on a wedding. And yes, I've heard from friends, close friends, saying they spent 15, 20k on a wedding that only lasts a day, and it's just a bit like, oh, that's it. But it's what the women wants. The women want church bells and the wedding dress and everyone taking photos of her. It's her special day, right? It's not your special day. It's the woman's special day. Someone says financial reasons. We're going to see that a lot. I'm hoping one of these people, especially as we're asking men, I want to really get down to the actual feelings, like what is the red flags from her that's stopping you from marrying that girl. That's what I want to hear. Hearing a lot of financial stuff, which is very valid, but I want to hear from some guys who are just like dating some girl long term and just being like, do you know what? Something just isn't quite right about her. Something's that's stopping me from taking that next step with her. That's what I want to hear. Someone said I had a co-worker who told me that he had been with his girlfriend for 10 years. He said that he never planned on proposing because he didn't actually love her, but that she was hoping he would anyway. You shouldn't be staying with someone if you don't love that person. That's actually a red flag with this guy. Like, why are you dragging her along if you're not in love with her? Like, that's an issue. And I think it actually shows from his point of view, he doesn't have the balls to leave her because he's probably worried that no woman's going to like him. Yeah, I think that guy has a lot of insecurities, and it's pretty horrible thing to do to drag someone along that you don't love because you're stopping her from having the opportunity to find someone who loves her the way she deserves to be loved, in her viewpoint anyway. Seems unnecessary, we're already married. Okay, that's a funny one. I'm finally married, but what stopped me for a long time was it's expensive. Yeah. Someone says she proposed first. You don't see that a lot, even in this like equality mindset and women can do what men do. Just women do not propose to guys. It's just, again, it's a societal thing. It's a perception thing. When the girls ask, "Oh yeah, how did the guy marry you? Like propose to you?" Sorry, the girl doesn't want to say, "Oh, I actually got down on one knee, proposed to him." Yeah, I don't think a woman can think of anything worse, unless it's obviously a lesbian relationship. Marriage just isn't a relationship milestone for us. We talked about it and we're happy as we are. Fair point. At least in my country, there's no benefit for it. Cannot be gained doing a day's worth of paperwork. Downside, higher tax, less pension money, etc. So again, more financial stuff. I really want to get to the crux of it. Is anyone going to say it's because I'm just not feeling it with this girl and give us reasons why? It does seem like a lot of economic stuff. 29-year-old male, had it drilled into me from my parents' divorce and every single divorced man I've ever met. Yeah, I think that's what's putting a lot of men proposing to their woman, even if the woman's great, even if they have a really healthy long-term relationship, everything's going really well. What's putting them off is seeing the divorce statistics, which is always increasing. I think it's up to like 60% in the UK of marriages ending in divorce, and that doesn't take into consideration the marriages who stay together and they're both not happy in the marriage. So it just doesn't sound like a good financial incentive to, go that marriage step. I'm not saying you should be in a long-term relationship, not saying you shouldn't have kids with that person and live in a house together, but marriage just doesn't make financial sense for men in this modern world. Just trying to find something that's not economic. Literally nothing other than economic here. What I'm thinking from my point of view is, I think there's people out there who are in long-term relationships with a woman, and the same with a woman with a man, where they can't take that next step because there's just something that's holding them back. You know, when you want to marry someone, you want it to be the perfect person, and you start to think, well, does that perfect person exist? But if you are going to take this next step with someone, they do need to be as close to perfect as possible. And I just think a lot of people are damaged, do have a past that might make you feel a bit repulsed, and you just don't want to take that next step because you just don't trust it's going to go the distance because there's these concerns about that person. And you notice it very early on in dating, very early on in relationships. I'd say by the 6th month mark, you know a lot of their secrets and you can see a lot of flaws in them, just like they can see flaws in you. And I think that's what's holding back a lot of people from taking that next step. Now, a woman's not going to want to be with a guy for 4 or 5 years or engaged for 4 or 5 years and not take that next step. So you might have some really great women who walk out your life because you didn't take that next step with them, because they don't want to be that woman who is just constantly just a girlfriend or constantly just engaged. But from my point of view, from a guy's point of view, doesn't really care about marriage. I'm thinking to myself, well, if this girl loves me, no matter what, she'll stay with me. Well, she should want to stay with me, even if we're not married. So that's something to kind of look out for. If you're dating a girl who says, I really love you and I want to get married, but if you don't marry me in the next 2 years, I'm going to leave you because you didn't take the balls to take that next step. In my head, I'll be thinking, well, obviously we're not right for each other then, because if I was your dream guy, you wouldn't leave me just because I didn't put a ring on your finger. Anyway, that's some food for thought. Gonna look out for on the internet maybe some stories about men who just didn't take that next step because there's just something off about the girl they're with. So look out for that, and I might do a part 2 to this video. But anyway, that's all, guys. Cheers. See ya.